This is 7 Days to Die. I'm Eustace the Monk. I actually got a request to do a review of this game from a viewer named John Hanks. I wasn't going to do one, frankly, because I just assumed everybody already knew about it. And then John says, you should do a review of 7 Days to Die, and I thought, I should. Why not? Basically, to put it bluntly, this game is one of the granddaddies of first-person survival games. It's an 800-pound gorilla, a biggie of early access, and it's absolutely fucking fantastic. I've been playing it for 124 some odd hours before getting John's request to do this video, and another 10 or so to get some decent footage to do the actual review, so needless to say, I pretty well enjoy this game. To a certain extent, I'm violating conventional wisdom of YouTube review videos. You're supposed to save the ultimate verdict of the review until near the end so that viewers will want to see the whole video. I'm not going to do that this time because I think this game, while it's absolutely amazing, may not be for everyone, and you'll see here in a second. Essentially, you're one of the last survivors of a zombie apocalypse. You have to find food, shelter, water to survive. You have to loot the tools and the weapons and all the stuff you need from abandoned houses and that sort of thing. You end up building up a base, build a forge, and then you can start making your own equipment and weapons and ammunition. It all sounds pretty easy, but in this game it's way tougher than in other games because you're literally just a regular person on the street trying to get enough to eat and drink to survive, and it simulates this pretty well. And the reason this game isn't for everyone, despite how incredible it is that the beginning game difficulty is absolutely fucking brutal. There's no two ways about it. You spawn in the world literally in your underwear, with a backpack with nothing in it but a bottle of water, like a can of chili or something, a torch, and a bandage. You don't know anything about any of the firearms you come across, so all you can do is use them to shoot zombies until they break, and you won't be able to repair them. You have to learn how to assemble and repair guns that you find by finding and reading these skill books and blueprints, and they're pretty rare drops. You're literally cobbling together tools and weapons from sticks and sharpened stones and plant fibers. You'll be frantically searching for a cooking pot just so you can boil your fucking eggs in it. This game does a fantastic job of making you feel like you're a desperate survivor, like few games of this type that I've ever played, and none others to this extent. I literally found a handgun in a toilet bowl. I'm serious. And then when I needed to use it against a group of zombies who were shambling toward me, I got 6 rounds off before it broke, and I had to turn tail and run because I didn't know how to fix it yet. I guess that's what happens when you use a pistol that you find in a toilet, but the noise attracted a bunch of other zombies, and my ability to get rid of the ones I got rid of ended up doing more harm than good, because instead of facing, 4 or 5 of them, there were a dozen of them wandering around in my area now. And that's another one of the really awesome things about this game, is that zombies are attracted by sound and smell. So if you hunt an animal and take its meat, you'll smell like meat when it's in your inventory and attract zombies. Looting houses makes noise that attracts nearby zombies, so you probably need to sneak around in the small towns you'll find. You can crouch down and sneak and move around slowly, and that really reduces the amount of noise you make while you're doing it. Looting houses is usually super noisy anyway because every single door is locked. There's sections of them boarded up, so you'll have to smash down door after door after door to get through the house to loot it properly. I guess apparently everyone was a complete bastard before pissing off for the zombie apocalypse. They locked up every single door and boarded up every single window. It's kind of funny after a while. I was like, really? The door to the toilet is locked from both sides. Another one of the really cool things about this game is that the zombie respawning seems very, very organic. You can clear out a section of the map and it'll stay zombie free for a while, and they respawn off screen, so it'll look like they'll just kind of trickle into the area. So you have to be constantly on the lookout for new zombies, but it'll never be like before you cleared them out. So it actually makes sense to try and secure areas of the map. There's also a system that the developers have made that they call heat. And it's not like literal heat, like a campfire or something like that, but it's the amount of activity that's being done in a chunk of the map. When you're doing a lot of construction, looting, using your forge a lot, all that kind of thing, increases the amount of heat in your area. And as soon as the heat reaches a certain point, a special screaming zombie is spawned off screen, and it heads right for your area. If the screamer sees you, of course, being called a screamer, it starts screaming, and the noise generates a zombie horde that heads right for your direction. I really like this system because it seems to simulate pretty well the situation that you're in, and you're basically in a land full of zombies, when you're the only significant source of activity for them to pay attention to. It makes the game really unique and interesting. The game has a really cool hit detection system, so it knows when you're hitting the zombies in the head or in the legs, and they react accordingly. Like if you hit them in the head, they'll get stunned or fall down. Hit them in the legs, they might kneel down to one knee. It makes finding the zombies pretty interesting and fun. This game is also amazingly customizable. Like loot spawn rates, zombie speed, overall difficulty, airdrop frequency. Just about everything can be tweaked to customize your game to make it exactly the way you want it. It's pretty awesome. Overall, like I said, this game is incredible. But there are some things that, in my opinion, need to be adjusted while it's in early access, and they only add to the beginning game's difficulty. First is that the zombies that you fight have the ability to debuff you in a variety of ways, and the debuffs come way too often. It seems like you get stunned constantly, or you're always getting infected. I mean, look at this fight I'm having here. Stun, stun, stun. I'm always being stunned. It's like, really? Getting punched in the face by a zombie I don't think would stun you this often. It gets so aggravating. I mean, it'd be fun if it was every once in a while, but it seems like it happens way more than it should, in my opinion. Also, you can get infected by the zombies. They're another kind of a pain in the butt. I mean, sure, it makes a cool debuff to kind of remind you that there's always a risk in finding, zombies. But in the beginning game, you have no way of making antibiotics to cure it, so you're pretty sure that you're in deep trouble if you get infected in the beginning game. There's no two ways about it. Usually airdrops have antibiotics in them, but they're bugged at the moment. Honey will cure the initial stages of the infection for some reason, but it's kind of a rare drop. It's tough to find honey. It just makes the infection debuff such a pain in the ass in the beginning game. This is hilarious. I went to a hospital in town searching for antibiotics. I figure if there's going to be antibiotics on this map, it's going to be in a hospital. Every single shelf of pills was empty of anything but vitamins, and there was no antibiotics in the whole hospital. I mean, if honey and antibiotics were easier to come by in the beginning game, it wouldn't be so bad, but now it's virtually impossible to get them, and it's, in my opinion, it kind of detracts from the game a little bit. Also, you sometimes spawn in hostile biomes, like smack in the middle of a desert or something. Since hyperthermia and hypothermia are status effects in the game, it can get kind of aggravating to spawn in the middle of the desert and have to hike through burning woods biomes to get to the less hostile environments. Zombie dogs, they're virtually impossible for the player to fight effectively in the opening game. They run just as fast as you do, so it's tough to get away from them. They can give you this bleeding debuff that will sap you of your hit points in an alarmingly short amount of time. You have to use a bandage to end the debuff, but getting that on while they're chomping on you is kind of hard. Sometimes you'll bleed out before you can kill them all if there's enough of them getting around you. Again, it's not so much of a problem in the middle game because you'll have guns, but in the beginning game it's kind of annoying. The best strategy I've learned to deal with the dogs in the beginning game is just run backwards and just flail at them with your club or whatever you have. And sometimes they're kind of bugged at the moment as well. Sometimes they'll just stop and look around and stop chasing you. But just turning tail and running away from them works on the regular zombies, not on the zombie dog. Just don't bother. And despite all my nitpicking, and that's really all this is just kind of nitpicking. It's an amazing game and you should check it out, seriously. It might not be for you if you're easily frustrated or you're kind of not in the mood to learn a game's mechanics, but if you like being challenged and you like having to fight to succeed, then this is a game you'll absolutely love. No, seriously. When you finally build a cool base and fight off your first zombie horde, you'll feel like you've really accomplished something because this game won't just give it to you. You gotta earn it, and that's why it's so amazing. If you have problems, the forum is full of really cool people and they'll help you out. I see people complaining about the difficulty of the game and how it's difficult to get into every day. There's a lot of posts about it, so if you're not the kind of person who enjoys having a game kind of challenge you, then this probably isn't the game for you. But again, it's such an incredible game. I just thumbs up all the way. It's one of the best early access games that's out there right now.